Out the back, we've got a few issues with the grass. And the first one actually is nothing to do with the grass. It's this morea. Now, over summer, it's really shading out the lawn. I don't really want to change the shape because it's nice in the garden, but I'm going to go through with my long-handled pruner and just pick out any of the smaller bits to try and get as much light as possible back down onto the lawn. When you're pruning something large like this, you don't want to take off a huge branch because, you know, it takes a long time to grow back and you're going to have an ugly plant. So just grab the branch you're going to prune and give it a bit of a shake, and you can see all the leaf that's going to be removed. And if it's too much, move on to the next one. Well, Melissa, I know you said I had the bad job out the back, but now I'm going to leave it to you to fix
Yeah,
up,
leave
right?
me to do the hard work, yeah. So this area of the lawn is also a bit of a low point in the garden. So it collects a lot of moisture, and then because it's shady, it doesn't get a chance to dry out. It's also nice and compacted. So I'm going to do it a favour, and I'm going to aerate the lawn. So in essence, aerating is opening up the soil, allowing air, water and nutrients down to the root zone, so it helps to improve the health of your grass. And you can do it with a garden fork or an aerator like this.
Have you
noticed I'm doing all the hard yakka and he's prancing around in his aerating shoes?
There's more ways to aerate a lawn than just that.
The question is, can you dance in them? I was thinking
I am
no.
dancing. That's me dancing. There's
more than one thing I can do with this.
Don't. I can't get away very quickly in these.
So we want to repair this area a bit, so we're putting down a thin layer of sand. And that sand will go into the aeration holes, stop them from collapsing. It's also, sand of course is free draining, it's not going to hold on to too much moisture, also helping to keep that soil surface nice and even. So the difference between what we're doing now and what you would do in spring is that now it's all about repair, so we're using just the sand. But in the springtime you could use, say, an 80-20 mix, something that's a bit more nutritious for the soil. This lawn's been through quite a lot, so just to help it recover, I'm giving it a gentle liquid feed to help revitalise the lawn. This one's got a little bit of seaweed in there, which helps to promote strong, healthy root growth, to re-establish the lawn and reduces stress.
Yeah, but with the lawn done, there's still plenty of things you can do in the garden to get it ready for winter.
Hop to it.
The thing I love about this time of year is you're not chasing your tail with the gardening the whole time. It gives you a chance to reflect and do some of those jobs that have just been nagging you, and this one is an absolute classic. We've got some violets and some dichondra, and because we've only got a spade edge, they're creeping out into the lawn, so I don't want this to keep going on. I'm going to dig a trench and simply install some of the edging we picked up earlier, and it'll fix it straight up.
This garden bed is full of clivias and they're getting blasted by the afternoon sun, which they don't like. So I'm going to shift them to another part of the garden where they'll do really well. That means we're going to transplant them. So I'm just going to drive the spade into the soil at about a 45-degree angle and just work my way around that plant until the whole clump comes out. Now, normally, I would tell you that you would want to keep as much of that root zone intact as you possibly could when you're transplanting. But clivias are so forgiving. And it's actually a really good time to divide them as well. So when you're transplanting them, why not get some free plants? When I'm moving plants to a new home, I like to have that area well prepared first so that I can move it in one go and not leave those roots exposed. And then make sure you keep the water up after you're transplanting. Places like this underneath trees are notoriously hard to garden in because you get so much competition from those roots for water, for nutrients, for space. So I can't think of a better thing to plant under them than gorgeous succulents. They'll also love that afternoon sun that's coming through. So I've got a couple of varieties here. They're both crassulas. So this one I'm planting now is called Bluebird. And you can see it's got gorgeous bluish coloured foliage with burgundy margins. Then I've got another one here called Max Cook, which has lovely wavy foliage. And through the cooler months, many succulents really come into their own, putting on some great new growth and displaying some beautiful foliage colours.
taken inspiration from Melissa's succulents around the back, and I've put a row of echeverias around the tree behind us. Now, because it gets so hot in summer, they flower in winter because it's less stressful, so you get some interest. And along the front, I really want some colour. I'm doing it with argyranthemums. Now, one of them is called pom-pom. This is lovely purple flower. And I'm using this one called chameleon. Now, this flower changes colour as it ages. They'll flower from spring all the way through to autumn. A tip, though, just deadhead the old flowers, and that will mean they'll push on some more all the way through winter. To add even more colour to our winter garden bed, I'm using these cyclamens. They'll flower all through winter, so they're going to go in the ground now. I find they do best once they finish flowering, lift them up, put them back in a pot, and you can enjoy them inside for the rest of the year.
It's a nice little pop of colour. Do you want a hand?
Yes, please.
What can I do?
We just got the cyclamens left, so just pop those in, it'd be great.
Beautiful. I'll get to work. All right, I've done one.
Yeah, they don't take long, do they?
All right, so I'm done. I'm going to see your colour and raise you one, because I've got a cute little project in mind.
You're just doing one?
Yeah, that helps.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
Eesh, worse than Adam.
Another great way to make the most of colour at this time of year is with bulbs. So keep an eye out in store for all those wonderful things like tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, ranunculus, all for winter and spring colour. Now, I like to have a little bit of fun with my bulbs and plant them in layers in containers. So a bowl like this is perfect, and I've just got a bit of potting mix already in the bottom there. So for the bottom layer, I'm going to plant some tulips. So this is a beautiful one. It's called Saigon. It has a lovely magenta colour flower. Now, with your tulips, if you live anywhere that gets a decent frost, then you don't need to worry about putting them in the fridge. But if you live above Sydney or you want to stimulate earlier flowering, then you can put them in the fridge for about 6 weeks or so before planting. I think it's a bit like making lasagna. So the second layer, I'm going to use this beautiful little miniature daffodil. This one's called tete-a-tete. So it only gets to about 15 to 20 centimetres tall, and has really cute little flowers that look like they've stepped out of the pages of a fairy tale. Just make sure you put potting mix in between each layer of bulbs, and don't worry, if you're putting bulbs on top of each other, they'll find their way to the top. Now, on the top layer, I'm going to use these beautiful hyacinths. So this one is called Aqua Lady, so it's just a really nice vibrant blue. And they're great to plant towards the top because they just like to have their noses just below the soil surface. The reason that we layer bulbs is to get a succession of colour. So timing will vary in different parts of the country, but for example, your hyacinths will pop up in the midwinter sometime. They'll be followed by those beautiful tete-a-tete daffodils, and then followed again in spring by those beautiful tulips. And then I like to plant the top of it out with the winter-spring annuals like pansies and violas, which flower at the same time.
Melissa, those pots look great.
They do. You wait till those bulbs pop up, it'll look amazing.
We got a fair bit done today, didn't we?
We did. We solved some problems. We got some colour in the garden. I'm happy.
Yep, you know, and it was all in a day's work, so feels good.
High five.